And here we go. Ito muna sana, more or less this will be our last episode for this week kasi busy-busy itong ka-interview natin at medyo busy rin tayo. So look forward to more discussions this weekend or next week, God willing, as we see the developments, unless something even crazier happens in our politics. But let's talk about a little bit foreign policy. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about. Now, one of the, ikaw, Ronald, maybe you know better than me, the Palestinian side of the story seems to be getting a lot of traction online. And in fact, recently, I don't know if you followed this. I know you're not as active on Twitter, but recently, actually, Maria Ressa, our Nobel Peace Prize, has come under a lot of criticisms and actually trending in siya several days because she's being questioned in terms of her stance on this issue. Honestly, I still don't know what is her stance. Kaya my advice actually to her was, or in a different discussion I had with Leloy was, maybe it's nice if she comes up with a full statement like Obama. No, Obama came out, hindi tweet. Kasi tweet, there's just so much. Just come up with a full statement para makita ng tao. Kasi ang nakikita lang natin sa feed ni Maria Ressa is she's just sharing from different sides. And then yung isa na share niya, mukhang na-interpret or she's saying na misinterpret na parang dina-downplay yung Palestinian side of the story as thousands of children's death gets confirmed. Of course, ceasefire is still not happening. People just felt na maybe Maria Ressa should be more forthcoming. And then, of course, Maria Ressa is close to Hillary Clinton. They're together fellows here in Columbia University. I wonder if she's meeting Rashid Khalidi, a fantastic professor, Palestinian-American professor who's been at the forefront of giving more ideas about what the other side of the story, which many people don't hear, no, based on facts, evidence, history, etc. No, but going back to this, what's happening here? Is this a situation whereby, I mean, first, Ronald, are you seeing a shift in terms of hindi naman public opinion, but in terms of more openness to also see the Palestinian side of the story, no? And there's this very strong woke movement, leftist movement, also pushing back against the other side, and then also like, what does this episode also say about Rappler or Maria Ressa and these people? I mean, maybe we shouldn't expect them to take a strong stance, maybe in favor of Palestine in this issue because they represent a certain brand of liberalism. What's going on here? Again, we're here at, to give constructive, because Maria Ressa is very important and interesting because she's Filipino American, right? So she traverses two cultures, and we see convergence of Filipino American culture too in the LGBTQ movement, in the our own version of all lives matter. So lots is going on there. Ikaw, anong basa mo dito? Although I know you're not a Twitter guy, yeah.
Well, una ay nakita ko yung mga memes na yan, no? Ang tingin ko yung naging lines diyan ay yung usapin sa Hamas, whether they're terrorists or not, no? Yung iba kasi yun yung isang term of reference nila. Si Maria Ressa gumawa siya ng libro about terrorism, 'di ba? Doon siya unang nakilala. So very clear
Al-Qaeda presence in Southeast Asia and Philippines.
So very clear yung kanyang position about Hamas as a terrorist organization, at very clear yung gusto niyang condemnation sa ginawa ng Hamas dun sa mga civilian sa Israel, babies, women, elderly, etc. So yun yung isang starting point niya. Paano doon nagsimula lahat ito eh. Pero together with other Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel laureates, kumuha sila ng statement about I think calling for a ceasefire, no, supporting the UN Secretary General Guterres, no, at saka yung humanitarian corridor, no. So kailangan hindi rin makita yung position niya sa Hamas na hindi nakadikit dun sa statement na yon na pinirmahan ng maraming
kasama attack sa kanya.
Kasama sa banat sa kanya kasi bawiin yung Nobel Prize, di ba? Yun yung kasama.
Parang ang
dahil sa position niya about Hamas, no? Kung tingin ko, kung ang position ni Maria Ressa, no, ay hindi niya pinapansin yung Palestinian issue, no? Ay tingin ko baka magkaroon ng traction yung ganung call. Pero hindi naman eh. No? Yung statement ng mga Nobel laureate ay malinaw naman yung kanilang call for a humanitarian ceasefire,
she's part of
the UN, no, etc., etc., no? Yun yung kinukuha ko lang saan siya nang gagaling, no? Talagang yan yung kanyang career dati. Yung 'di ba, may libro siya about
Yes,
terrorists.
yes.
At kasama yan sa kanyang binabanata dito sa Hamas issue, no?
But I think that
Pero
really
hindi lang yan si Maria
ceasefire.
Ressa. Almost the entire European or North American left divided diyan eh. 'Di
Yeah.
ba? Especially yung European, no? Sa Europe talagang hating-hati eh. Sa North America mukhang mas marami yung gustong balikan yung issue ng history ng Palestine. No, paano nangyari ito, no? Ako naman hindi ako sang-ayon na hindi condemn ang Hamas. Ako doon din ako nanggagaling. Dapat i-condemn din 'yon eh. Para maging credible yung
Namatayan tayo ng mga kababayan din. I mean, as Filipinos,
Yes.
first line to
Para
that.
maging credible yung pagtawag mo ng ceasefire, para maging credible yung humanitarian cause mo, kailangan mo na i-condemn yung Hamas, no? Dito sa nangyari. Knowing na sila yung gobyerno sa Gaza, no? Ay it doesn't justify not to condemn them. No, yun yung so at tingin ko mas magiging compelling yung iyong narrative about helping the Palestinians if you condemn these baby killers, no? If you condemn this pumapatay ng mga civilian, dahil ang ibig sabihin naman ng terrorism ay yung paggamit ng gera against civilian population. Yun naman ang general definition. So in that definition, Hamas is a terrorist. The Israeli bombing West Gaza are also terrorists, no, involved in genocide, no. Kaya doon ako lang gagaling.
So your position is any deliberate or indiscriminate attack against civilians for political reasons is an act of terror. Parang yun yung positioning mo.
Yes. Kahit sabihin nila na yung mga target namin nagtatago behind the civilians, no? Ay, hindi justification yun. Napatayin yung pinagtataguan. Hindi, kita mo ba yung mga yung mga craters? 'Di ba? Kahit si Superman hindi mabubuhay doon sa craters
Alam
na
mo,
yun.
Ronald,
Indiscrimination yung ganun kalalaki. No, isang block yung crater, 'di ba? No?
and they could not confirm kung pinatay yung Hamas commander even.
Yes, they
Yung
cannot
tinanong, so you also after all of this, you think you got, they couldn't confirm daw. So how is this? You're just gonna, so
kaya nga even the Americans na solidly behind the Israelis are calling for a pause. No, not ceasefire, a pause.
Yeah, they're coming with new terms para hindi ceasefire, no?
Dahil tinatamaan sila eh. Di ba tinatamaan sila eh? Dito sa
tinatamaan si Biden. He's gonna lose hundreds of thousands of Muslim American vote, especially in Michigan. He's already beating Trump in swing states, and I think this crisis.
How can you attack Putin for killing civilians in Ukraine, tapos susuportahan mo ang Israel for killing children in Gaza? Ano itsura mo nun? No? Ano itsura mo nun? Hindi yan untenable ito para sa Democrats Untenable ito kay Biden. Kaya ang kanilang escape clause, let's have a pause. No? Let's have a pause, no?
But thousands have already been killed. I mean, children, right?
Yes.
10,000.
More than 10,000 na at more than half dyan, children, no? No? Malayo pa rin sila doon sa namatay dito sa Tokhang.
Just to be clear, actually the United Nations confirmed that hindi ito yung mga numbers na ginagawa lang nila doon, no? Hindi ito yung PNP.
Paano sinabi ni Biden, wala siyang tiwala doon sa
so UN has come out and the names were out. So the Dowton, you can check the name of the victims, including children and women, that's what I don't like. That's not the right way. I mean, we can have policy, but when you're trying to even erase the victims, medyo ibang usapan na yan. So I think that this is going to be really bad for Biden. Honestly, I think Trump has very good chance of winning this. And if anything, a third-party candidate has a very good chance of also doing very well. I think 20-25% yung kay Bob Kennedy Jr., yung numbers niya, that's insane for a third-party candidate, no?
Yes.
And there are even discussions that Governor Newsom of California may step in, or Kamala Harris. I just don't think it's going to work. So I mean, Democrats are in huge trouble because I know Biden is trying to say I'm with both sides, but the sequencing, the timing, the circumstances, and with all these young people taking a very different position on the conflict in the Middle East and then becoming new voters, I don't know, medyo malabo yung situation ni Biden. He has to do something big in the coming days. But dito balikan natin, Ronald, because you're also very much embedded in the global internationalist movement and all, kaya gusto ko nang kausapin. So are you what are the divisions in the left and liberal progressive movement? You're saying, do you think these divisions will be eternal? Kasi for me, the best way forward is something like what Boric said, which is more or less what you said, right? Like Boric, ka-age ko lang yan, yung president ng Chile, di ba? You can condemn both. It's not an either or. You can condemn terror acts against civilians. You can also condemn indiscriminate bombings or supposedly indiscriminate bombings. No, so you cannot. It's not about choosing. And you can also talk about at the same time historical context. Like they're not mutually exclusive. Diba? Of course.
Example, Richard. Next week, may gathering yung Party of European Socialists sa European Parliament. This is the second biggest bloc within the European Parliament. Darating dyan mga heads of state. No? Si Prime Minister Sanchez ng Spain, Prime Minister ng Portugal, Prime Minister ng Denmark, no? Prime Minister ng Norway, etc. No? Prime Minister ng Germany. Nandiyan. Pero makikita mo yung positioning ng isang organization na yan, who are both members of the Socialist International and the Progressive Alliance, ay hati. No? Even within the UK Labour Party, who might be the next ruling party, hati yan. No? Hati yung kanilang positioning between the chairman and the former chairman ng Labour Party. Halimbawa, yung PES, yung Party of European Socialists, next week, in just a few days, no, magkikita-kita yan, yung position ng Prime Minister ng Spain, Prime Minister ng Portugal, iba sa position ng Prime Minister ng Denmark, no? Prime Minister ng Germany, no? Yung Prime Minister ng Norway mukhang leaning towards Spain and Portugal. Pero makikita mo, they're members of two international. Hati sila.
Yeah,
no?
they voted for...
Hati sila. Diyan, no? Kaya bumababa yan sa mga foundations, bumababa yan sa mga local parties, no? So yung division na yan, talagang intense yung away. Lalo na, pag lumalabas na itong mga video pictures ng children, no? Suffering, being killed, being maimed, no? Biro mo yung isang bata, no, sinasabi niya, ang natira sa aking kapatid, no, ay ganito kalaki, no? Yung nanay, yung tatay na hawak-hawak yung patay na sanggol habang yung asawa niya ay patay, no? Yung mga images na yan, no? Medyo mahirap yang mahirap yang kontrahin because these are real No, sinasabi ng Israel, "Oh, military age yung mga tao na yan, no? Yan ay mga Hamas." Come on, no? Hindi naman ganyan karami ang Hamas. No? Ngayon sinasabi mo, buong population ng Gaza are Hamas. No? Yun yung ibig sabihin, uubusin mo lahat yan. No? Ganun yung conclusion Dahil lahat yan, military age, lahat yan ay nagtatago sa civilians, uubusin mo. No? Talagang genocidal yung proposal na yan. Bago mangyari, tutulan mo na. At yung mga kaliwa na hindi po posisyon ng malinaw dyan will be condemned by history dahil sa panahon ngayon ng social media, yung positioning mo will be permanent. Hindi yan pwedeng kalimutan Yan yung problema ngayon Di ba? Everything na lumabas ngayon.
In the Philippines, sabi ni Rafael Luna, hindi naman daw siya DDS. So I don't know. I see more
Sorry, pinatulan ko Sorry Hindi ako nakapagtimpi.
I'm just saying, like just look at the Philippines, biglang yung mga DDS na ako in this, how dare you? Biglang i-gaslight ka pa nila. So let me end on this note because I want to ask you the question because the reason why medyo natatrauma ako dito sa discussion ng sorry, collateral damage na lang yan. Yung ganyang diskurso is naalala ko yung diskurso nung panahon ng EJK ni Digong, 'di ba? Na we're not, of course, let CC investigate that alleged EJK nung panahon ni Digong, alright? Okay, let's be legal.
Lahat lumaban.
Yun nung non-laban argument, 'di ba? Yung non-laban, 'di ba? Ganun lang, you can justify any killing sa hindi ano yan terrorist yan. Ano yan, non-laban. 'Di ba? You get what I'm saying? And then sorry, collateral damage. You see that I'm not saying they're the same case. They're different cases. Yes. We can argue about which is worse in certain way or whether they're even comparable at all. Yes, but that insensitivity, yung pagkamanhid, yung idea na sorry na lang collateral damage. Medyo trauma ako diyan, Ronald. I mean, I of course, ikaw you have spent your life in progressive movement and all. I don't claim to be anything along those lines, but ako naman parang syempre yung faith mo sa conscience ng inyong mga kababayan minsan, pag na-shaken yan, masakit yan, Ronald. Kasi kaya nga tayo lumalaban dahil naniwala tayo sa ating taong bayan. Naniwala tayo sa the moral cause, no, for fighting for better Philippines. And then marinig mo yung mga ibang, I'm not saying all, pero ibang kababayan mo na parang, ay, ano lang yan, tama lang yan, collateral damage. Yung ganyan na manhid, ganyan na dehumanization. And then, of course, naalala ko yung panahon ng Marawi, di ba? Binomba-bomba yung buong Marawi. I mean, honestly, did we really need, ilan ba yung mountain na yan? Did we really need to bomb the whole city? I mean, kaya nga may tinatawag na surgical strike. Again, I support the AFP, fighting for our country, etc. But I have some issues about the operational accuracy and all. But you would hear Filipinos saying, ay, mga yan kasi sumuporta sila ng ng mga terorista, kaya tama lang na mabomb. Yung mga ganyan na usapin, not from AFP but from ordinary civilians, some friends that I really respected, yung ganyan na manhid na dehumanize yung mga tao. Medyo traumatized ako noon. So actually hindi pa ako So when I was hearing it again in the past 2 weeks and 3, ngayon medyo tumahimik na yung iba But I heard that a lot in the second week of October. Na tama lang yan, bombayin yung kabila para naman yan. I don't know. Ikaw, what is your take on that? I mean, I know you're not a religious man per se, but I mean, you have gone through the, Catholic faith. I mean, the Pope has spoken on this. The Pope is absolutely 100% clear, ceasefire. O, di ba, Katoliko mga Pilipino. So, are we listening to the Pope, Pope Francis?
Yes,
right?
Nga sinabi mo, hindi naman ako walang experience. I organize in Basilan, no? Rubber cooperatives, no? Yakan, Tausug, no? Inorganize namin, and we fought the Abu Sayyaf na nire-raid yung mga plantations namin, no? Sila Janjalani, sila Abu Sabaya, no? Late 80s, early 90s, no? Nakalaban namin yan. So, medyo may kaunti akong knowledge about them, itong mga to. Pero hindi mo gagamitin silang excuse, no? Para sa sinasabi mong collateral damage, no? Kaya nga nag-react ako dun sa mga sinasabi ni Rafi Alunan, yung kanyang paranoia na itong mga PLA at saka Chinese spies are coming out of the woodwork, no? Dahil bordering on racism yan At pinaalala ko sa kanila yung nangyari sa Indonesia na more than 1 million yung napatay na pinagsususpetsahan na Chinese communists. Di ba? Yan yung delikado sa ganyang klaseng paranoia. No, it's more it's a two-edged sword.
Xenophobia.
Yeah. Nadidivide tayo at in the final analysis manghihina tayo as a nation. No? At mas vulnerable tayo sa attacks ng mga invaders at saka foreigners, no? Yan yung kumbaga yung ganyang klaseng framework na collateral damage na naka-base sa paranoia, naka-base sa xenophobia. Yan ay magkakamag-anak Magkakadikit-dikit yan At yung mga sociopaths at saka psychopaths na gumagamit niyan are birds of the same feather. Diba? Pare-pareho yan Kahit iba-iba yung itsura. No? Yan yung ating dapat i-expose Dahil minsan nakatago yan Di ba? Kaya nga ang lakas ng populism Kaya nga ang lakas ng xenophobia dahil nagtatago sila sa iba't ibang mga vulnerabilities ng kanilang mga populasyon Diba? Ang pinipindot nila yung mga vulnerabilities. Halimbawa, yung populism sa US, no? Panyan, based on data analytics Pinag-aralan nila yung section ng white population na very lonely. Loneliness ang basis ng kanilang data analytics, no? Itong lonely white men, no? Paano ba nila yan i-manipulate? Paano ba ang psychosocial profiling niyan? At yun yung ginamit nila sa kampanya. Diba? At patuloy na ginagamit ngayon. Yan yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kahit iba-iba yung itsura. Kahit iba-iba yung permutations. At dapat yung mga katulad natin, laging ine-expose yan. Whether manggaling yan sa kaliwa, manggaling yan sa kanan, manggaling yan sa gitna, sa taas o sa baba, everybody ay vulnerable dyan. Kaya halimbawa, itong kay Maria Ressa, tignan natin yung buong picture. Ano po ba yung iba niyang statements? Paano? Ang kinuha lang yung statement niya about Hamas Hindi nakita yung statement
lang,
about Palestine no?
Nag-share lang siya I mean, just because you retweet something doesn't mean you exactly mean it. Ako naman, naintindihan ko ibang critics. Sa point nila, she has to be clear. Kaya nga sabi ko, the best thing, just come up with a statement, shut down all of the criticism, tapos ng usapan.
Yeah. Tapos, tinitignan ko rin, sino yung nagkikriticize? No? Tinitignan ko, halimbawa, yung isang attorney something, capital F, na nakaaway ni Chris Aquino. na medyo may kaunting kwan yun, may kaunting sayad, no?
Kaya
Yung
kaibigan
ganyan, no?
natin yan. Kaibigan.
Oo, yan. No? Doon sa, sasabihin ko naman sa harapan niya, no? Tapos meron kang mga galing sa kaliwa na iba naman yung pinanggagalingan dahil wag daw tawaging terrorist ang Hamas, no? Yung iba dyan, mga kaibigan mo, di ba? Yun yung, pag tinawag mo terrorist yung Hamas, anti-Palestine ka na. Ganun kaagad yung kanilang conclusion, di ba? Yun yung,
Yung nga nangyayari
and
kung
some of
masyadong
them
extreme partisanship. Yeah. Dapat nga, for me, before ideology should be humanity. We should be with all the children na nabiktima, lahat ng mga civilians na biktima. Wala akong pake anong bansa ka, anong religion mo. We have to stand. Yun nga, when ideology comes before humanity, that's where it's lost. Magiging away-away lang ng ideological yan. Kaya,
Tumawa ako. Tatawagin ko Richard yung Hamas na terrorist. Ako ba ay anti-Palestine? Hindi. Pupunta nga ako sa Tunisia next month para tumulong dun sa Fatah, dun sa isa pang Palestinian party para mag-usap with our Labor Party of Israel, no? At saka yung trade union, yung Histadrut. No? So ibig sabihin, may gagawin kami. No? Hindi kami natutulog dito sa pansitan. May gagawin kami dahil kami ay sang-ayon kami dun sa two-state solution. Kahit yan ay sabihin ng iba na patay na. Kami ay sang-ayon sa dialogue, no? Pero malinaw yung aming posisyon dun sa mamamayan ng Palestine. While at the same time, tatawagin kong terorista tong Hamas, no? Yun yung
at the very least, you condemn any attacks dun sa mga civilians, including yung mga kababayan natin na matay. We have to be absolutely clear about that.
Yes.
At the same time, we can talk about the historical roots, etc. Kasi structure matters, but also there's agency, right? There's also, poverty and difficult conditions can make crime more probable, according to someone. But that's not an excuse. I mean, there's still conscience. There's still the grace of the Lord. I mean, if you believe in the scripture, diba? Yun nga, like, so.
Unfortunately, some of our friends, Richard, no? Yun yung pinanggagalingan. Pag tinawag mong terrorist ang Hamas, anti-Palestine ka. No?
Well, in the same way, kung criticize mo naman yung kabilang policy ng kabila, sasabihin nila anti-Semitic ka, di ba? Yung parang, yun nga So, kaya we have to be very clear. We have to fight against anti-Semitism. We have to fight against Islamophobia. We have to fight against xenophobia. So, let's be honest. I and Ronald, if you have heard us behind the scenes, we're definitely not enemies of China. I think we appreciate what China's done for its people in terms of lifting people out.
I led 3 delegations to China. No? I'm the only Filipino to speak at their party school in Beijing, no? Etc. I spoke at their 101st anniversary of the Communist Party. I think I'm the only Filipino who did that. Pero
kasano ka tawag doon,
pero malinaw,
ka daw, Ronald, balimbing ka daw.
Ako malinaw,
no? Malimbing.
Kung sabi ng West Philippine Sea, may bottom line, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
Diba?
Exactly. Yun nga, hindi tayo hater. Actually, yun nga, dyan ako nainis na tinitwisting words natin. I'm criticizing the actions of the Communist Party vis-a-vis West Philippine Sea at mainis na natin. But I have nothing against the Chinese people and definitely nothing against Chinoys, definitely nothing. No, in fact, I had my best friends from childhood were Chinoys. I spent great time in Taiwan, in Singapore. I've been to China many times, really great times with our friends there. Outside politics, this is just humanity, no? Just humanity, friends. Talking about nothing that has to do with politics, no? Chinese-American friends. So yun nga that's my problem, Ronald, no? Yung mga iba, dahil gusto magdumistansya kay Digong, nag-overcorrect, nag-overcompensate, and then suddenly they're doing something problematic. So xenophobia is not patriotism. In fact, Zal is
meron ka nga senador no? Highest ranking senador ang sinasabi, no? Export ban, no? Yung mga Filipino-Chinese, no? Stand up and be counted or else you are traitors.
Yeah, that's
yun yung
that's unfair.
Talagang bordering on xenophobia, racism, etc. No?
Yeah, it's
pero
like
nung panahon ni Digong, tumahimik siya. Totally. Di ba tumahimik siya? Tapos meron ka ito na supporter, non-supporter daw ni Digong, no? Na dating cabinet secretary, nag-nuance pa ngayon, di ba? Nuance pa. Tapos ngayon paranoid about China, di ba? Hindi naman pwede yan. Magayos ka.
What? Sino kasi nag-interview sa kanya? Sabay ganun. Kasi, mamaya, atakin ka, hindi na ni si Robin, si Rafi nang atak sa'yo at hindi si Rafi Tulfo. Ayan lang. Mag-blind item na hindi naman masyadong blind item. Salamat, Sir Ronaldo Llamas, I really appreciate it. Alam ko pagod ka, you had a long day, etc. So hindi ko ipapahabain yan. Pasensya na ano yung...
Anytime, capital R.
So
Pero
this was
bukas,
good.
6:30, may interview pa ako. Pero
Oh,
mo, aga.
welcome to the world, right? I mean, that's the price.
Ngayon mo na uunawaan yung mundo mo. No? You're everywhere. Ako, at least ako, calibrated. Konti lang.
No, but Ronald, I really appreciate it. At saka yung ginagawa natin dito, I mean, I do interviews all around the world, CNBC, Bloomberg. But this conversation you and I have, Ronald, in this kind of in-depth, soulful conversation, no mainstream media can beat us. Hindi ako nagyayabang, no. Alam niyan ng mga followers natin, mga ka-RNR, mga ka-Meta, they know it. You'll not get this kind of discussion in any mainstream media, right?
Sabay mo minsan si Juan, si L, parang RRL.
Oo nga, related literature. Ang problema ni L, yung time niya San Francisco. So, pwede ka 11 p.m.? Ganon kasing time ko sa kanya, like 12.
Pwede. 6:30 nga ako bukas eh.
O yan,
tayo tatlo, no?
Usually, Saturdays kami, mga 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m., mga ganitong time. Sige, make sure lang hindi ka nag-interview ng 6 a.m. sa
Tutulog ako 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm an insomniac, no?
Gen Z ka pala eh. Gen Z ka pala. O sige, RRL na natin yan ha. With Lelo naman.
Para masaya, di ba?
Si Lele, parati kayo hinahanap nun. Gusto ko. Alam mo si Lele, nakikinig siya sa atin. Tapos babanatan niya tayo sa show ko. Ganun ang style.
Yung kapatid niya nasa international community namin, no? Tapos yung kanyang nanay nasa aming women's committee, no? Kaya pag magkamali siya ng hirit, isusumbong ko siya.
The best yan. The best yan. So let's do it. RRL, review of related literature.
Para maganda, di ba?
Thank you so much, Secretary Ronald Llamas, for sharing your views. I know you're tired. I know but alam mo naman, if di tayo parang therapist na, I mean, sabi ni Lelo, therapy sa kanya yung mga discussion namin. So I hope it's also therapy with you because, you know, I mean, things are tough. I mean, I think morally, all of us are dealing, I mean, we're seeing so much inhumanity out there. We're seeing people we respected suddenly coming out and being racist and weird, right? And nasasaktan ako, Ronald. So I'm so super happy that you, Leloy, and we see eye to eye on in terms of at least humanity before ideology, humanity before partisanship, humanity before nationalism, because that's the most important thing. Maraming salamat, Ronald. God bless, and please pahinga ka lang, at saka regards kay Sir King, malapit na kami magtandeman na kami. Alam ko sa inyo, may Japanese ka na ngayon, show ka na.
Pag late ako, yung nakakausap sa'yo.
The best yan. Ang cute niya nga eh.
Sabihin mo tungkol sa geopolitics. Diba?
Gwapong bata. Sige po, God bless and regards. Talk to you soon.
Okay, sige.